And it's time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, things have held out pretty well for producers harvesting around the state up to this point. What can we expect as we hit the tail end of October?
Well, Bill, overall this last week did not produce a significant amount of precipitation, and most of it was confined to the northern one-third of the state as we had that weak upper air trough moving across basically Wyoming and then straight eastward toward the western Great Lakes. And in the meantime, we dropped some light to moderate precipitation. When I say moderate, there was some third of an inch to 4/10 of an inch that were reported periodically throughout parts of northern Nebraska, and some accumulating snowfall in the northwest panhandle, basically in that 1 to 3 inch range. So that's 3 consecutive snow events. We basically are looking at a couple more systems that are going to be moving across the country, but it looks like much of western Nebraska will miss out on these precipitation events as they focus more on the eastern part of the state. So as we go to the upper air models, I draw the first attention to that cold air that was responsible with the frost that came into our region with that trough is now sitting over the Great Lakes and kind of pushing westward. At the same time, we have a trough coming in the western United States with basically a zonal flow coming in. So we're going to see what they call an atmospheric river event where moisture piles up on the mountains, and you can kind of see it here on Saturday afternoon that we're seeing that heavy precipitation, and that energy will start to translate its way into the Central Plains, and the first piece will kick out across Nebraska as we go into tonight and tomorrow. We'll have low pressure sitting up over the Texas Panhandle, and then a secondary low that's over north central Missouri. That's going to bring that moisture up to us, but it may not be sufficient in time to give a wide spot part of Nebraska, eastern Nebraska precipitation. By Monday, we return back to above normal temperatures as that high pressure ridge builds back in, and we get another trough coming into the Pacific Northwest and the western United States. Significant moisture all the way through central California. And we get a break here as that heavier precipitation inundates the eastern Corn Belt. And then we start digging out a trough across the intermountain regions with low pressure by the GFS model expected to develop over northwestern Kansas. And that may bring a little bit better moisture feed up into eastern Nebraska. Most of the moisture at this point will be wrapped around into the Intermountain region, and as that system moves into the center part of the country, GFS wants to split the energy. Low pressure over the Texas Panhandle will lift copious moisture up over the southern Central Plains, and we will see some precipitation breaking out across the eastern half of the state and then pushing eastward, leaving most of western Nebraska high and dry. And then on Thursday, as that ridge builds up in the western United States, we get a northwest flow, so another cold stretch of air coming into our region behind that front. So those that did not get freezing temperatures or hard freeze across eastern Nebraska, most likely will see this we get into next Thursday, into the next Friday. As this front blows through, we're going to pull a lot of cold air. As that intensifies over the eastern Corn Belt, we start to see high pressure developing over our region, and that looks like it's going to hold maybe through the end of the month before we start to see this next system of the Pacific Northwest start to move toward the east-southeast into our region. So we look even farther into the future, 8 to 14 day forecast. It takes us from next Thursday to the following Tuesday. It includes the Halloween weekend, above normal temperatures as that ridge is in place, and in terms of precipitation, well below normal moisture. So we have a couple systems that will hit eastern Nebraska, and otherwise than that, it's fairly dry conditions over the western part of the state.